Welcome back, Gordon Short here for another matchday preview / review, because that Palace game was a shambles. Our performance was not great, but our next game is against Roma. We got to think about that now. In midweek in the Champions League at Stamford Bridge at 8:15 kickoff. But let's talk about Palace. Obviously, they wanted it more than us. Their intensity was high. Wilfried Zaha changed the game for him. He controlled the game. But it did show that they needed to win that game. Like, go 7 games without a win, without a goal, that is some record for the Premier League. If they lost this game, that would have been them relegated this early on. That's how I feel. 8 games without a win, if they did lose to us, which they didn't, that you can't really come back from that. But they've given themselves a bit of a fighting chance now to try to stay up. And then with Zaha and Loftus-Cheek, I'm pretty sure they'll probably give it a good go. But let's talk about Chelsea. I hate when people slate our players. They're wearing the Chelsea badge. Like, yes, they might have a bad game, but there might be reasons behind that. Willian, his mum died a year ago. I think it was middle of last week. It was a year ago since his mum died. Obviously, selection-wise, if he is in a bad state, then Conte should have put him on the bench or not even in the squad. But they would have had that conversation. They would have known what his level was at. Yes, he hasn't really proved it or turned up this season, but it's still early on. It's 8 games. Let him build into the season before we start slating him. And Batshuayi, yes, his movement wasn't great against Palace. Yes, he doesn't hold up the ball very well. But I do think he is a quality striker if we play to his strengths, which is getting down to the byline, putting it in front of him, letting him run onto the ball. That's what his strength is. Not holding up the ball, not battling, trying to win headers. That is not his game. Why are we playing to that game? He's not Morata and he's not Diego Costa. He is Batshuayi. We've got to get down to that byline and cut it in from there. That's when he is best. Coming onto the ball and striking it first time. That's how we're going to get the best out of him. That's what Man City do with Jesus. Yes, he's not going to hold up the ball because of his physical side of Jesus' game. But they play it in front of him so he can run onto it and hit it first time. That's what we've got to do with Batshuayi. I also think Batshuayi needs a strike partner. If he had Morata or something like Hazard, if he played the 2 up front, maybe it would have gave the centre-back something to think about. They had Hazard or Morata. Obviously, Morata was out injured. But if we're going to try and get Batshuayi into the game, then I do think he needs a strike partner. Also, he hasn't had much playing time, so do give him that. Like, he's had a couple minutes here and there. He's scored us some crucial goals, but that's because we played to his strengths. We put it in front of him, and he's got the goal from it. So he has shown quality when we played to his game. So adding in a strike partner that might help him a little bit, just to build his confidence up. He hasn't had much game time, so please stop slating up. And Cahill as well, he's another one. He is our captain. He wears the Chelsea badge. Stop slating him. He might have a bad game here and there, but he is our captain. He is our focal point at that back. His spot should be competed for. He's not at his best. Even in his interview, he said I instead of we, which I thought was quite interesting. He kind of slipped up in his post-match interview. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you'll find it somewhere out there. But one question, I think it was, he said, I haven't been, and then he quickly changed it to we haven't been performing, something like that. But that is interesting because he's his own worst critic. He said that before in another post-match interview. I watch him really closely because obviously I'm a coach. I want to see how managers respond to certain performances or anything like that. But that's the performance out of the way. It obviously meant more to Palace to win that game than it did us. And we shouldn't be saying that we're the champions of England. We should be wanting to win every game. But obviously, that game is now out of the way. Let's stop talking about that and focus on Roma. Midweek in the Champions League, like I said, it is a massive game. If we win this, we win 3 games out of 3. We're still top of the group if we win this game. Maybe he rested Christensen and Rudiger for this game. Having that in mind with like Palace, then we got Roma, and then we got Watford, like a few days in between, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So maybe he has rested a few players like Pedro. Like, why he didn't start against Palace, I don't know. But maybe it was for having Roma in his sights. Because he's very, very organised. He knows when to play players and all that. So maybe he did have Roma in the back of his mind. Going on to that, Morata is back. He's back in training. I don't know if he will go straight back in. But the way Batshuayi played, and he didn't really help himself the way he came off, throwing his tape on the floor and stormed into the bench. But if we throw Morata back in there and he gets injured again and he's out longer than needed, then that is a massive loss for us. So we need to play this really, really well. But if it's all clear and he's gunning to go, put him in. Put him in. Like, we missed him against Palace. We were toothless up front without Morata against Palace on Saturday. So if he's fit, put him in. So my starting 11 for this game: Courtois in goal. My back three is going to be Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta. I don't think David Luiz had a great game against Palace. Neither did Azpilicueta. He was at fault for, well, he scored an own goal. But again, Zaha's goal, he was there. He was backing off. He should have put a challenge on before he got in that box, before Zaha got into our box. Also, Alonso, not a great game. He let the ball being played into, I think it might have been Townsend, for the cross when Kabay got it, or the Azpilicueta in goal. If you watch it back, Alonso's out of position, the ball's played down to the byline, and they get the goal from there. So again, and he didn't have a great game, but I do think we haven't got anyone competing for Alonso's position. So Alonso stays in for me. Then on to the right wing back. Zappacosta looked really, really well when he came on. He performed well. He was getting in loads of crosses. Yes, they weren't critical enough and they weren't good enough, but he was putting crosses in. And I think with Morata, he would get onto most of those crosses that were put into the box. So I will give Zappacosta a go. I would put Zappacosta in. I don't know if he's going to go with Victor Moses, but I do think Zappacosta does need a start. And this could be a game. It's Roma. It's not like Atletico or Man City. It's Roma. They're a good team, but I do think he can handle it against Roma. Then in the midfield, Kante is still out injured. So I will put David Luiz and Bakayoko. Fabregas is not a defensive midfielder. He does not have the defensive work. He's more of an attacking role where he can play the ball into the wide areas, into the striker. He has not got that defensive side. He hasn't got the legs for it now. He's 30 or getting to 30 or over 30. I'm not too sure. I don't really check players' ages. If they're still playing, they're good enough. So he's more of an attacking player for me. So that's why I'm putting David Luiz and Bakayoko in that midfield. It also, if David Luiz have one of those moments where his lapse goes, then we got back up with Christensen, Rudiger and Azpilicueta behind him. On to my front three. Eden Hazard, another player who plays slated against Palace. Yes, he went missing, but do not forget, he had a broken ankle in the summer. And he's back already. Like, give him time. Give him time to get back to that sharpness. Yes, he's looking sharp, but let him have time to get back in sync, get back into the swing of things. I'm sure he will do us bits this season. But getting onto his back this early on from his recovery from injury, it's not good enough. It's not good enough from us. We need to lay off our players and stop putting so much pressure on them. They've just won the league. Yes, we do have a flop the season after. That was one season. Everything. The season after, we don't do great. The only season that I remember that was the 15-16 season. Other than that, I do think we do alright after we win the league. So let's not get onto these players. Please, please. So Hazard out on the left. On my right, I'm going to put Charlie Musonda. Charlie Musonda looked fantastic when he came on. He was the best player on that pitch and he only played for 20 minutes. That's saying something. He deserves a start. Let's start Charlie Musonda. Let's let him show us what he can do and let him show Conte what he can do. Against Roma, I think he can flourish. He played in the Bundesliga. It's a similar sort of style in the Italian league. So let him start against Roma. Let him flourish in this type of game. Leading the line, I'm going to put Morata. He's back in training. If he's firing to go, Morata goes up front. Or we don't want to risk him and have him out longer. I'm fine with Batshuayi starting. The more game time he gets, the more, like, there's a little cue. If he checks in, that's when he needs to make his run. He only gets that when he plays games. So Morata's not fit enough, or the injury's still niggling at him. Batshuayi is fine for me. But I do think we should go with Morata if he is fit and he's firing to go. Put Morata in. He will get us a goal. Guaranteed, whether it's with his head, left foot, right foot. He's shown that in the past. He will get us goals. And that's what we need to beat Roma, is goals. That's what we were lacking that against Palace. So that is my lineup. My prediction for this game, I think it's going to be tricky. Oh, it's going to be difficult. I don't know much about Roma and what they're about. I can, being at home as well, it gives us a bit of an advantage. We've just beaten Atletico in the last Champions League game. So if we could beat them, we could beat Roma. I'm going to go 2-0 to the Chelsea. Also, don't forget to go check out my team's highlights. We won 4-2. There is a penalty in there. Go find out if he scored it. Also, don't forget to go check out my vlog from the Crystal Palace Chelsea. And also, do not forget to subscribe. It's that red button down below. It's not hard to miss. Hit a like, share it. I'll see you all next time. Come on, you Blues!